This is the mission history for the third week of September, presented by Pastor James Wong. And today, we're going to dive into the remarkable story of Rosetta Hall, a true pioneer who completely changed the face of medicine in Korea. This is really what's at the very heart of Rosetta's life and her work in Korea. You see, it's a story that starts with profound, unimaginable loss, but it's also a story about incredible resilience and a dedication that would end up changing the course of medicine for an entire country. Okay, so to really get the full picture of her incredible impact, we've got to go back to the beginning of her journey. It's a journey that took her all the way from New York to what was then known as the Joseon Dynasty in Korea. So Rosetta was born back in 1865 in New York, and let me tell you, she was a trailblazer from the start. She graduated from one of the very few medical colleges that would even accept women at the time. She then felt this powerful calling to serve as a medical missionary. And where did that call lead her? To Joseon. And it's there that her path crossed with Dr. James Hall, another missionary who shared her incredible passion and her purpose. Now, get this. Their wedding wasn't just a private celebration. Oh no, it was a huge public event. You have to imagine a Western-style ceremony in Joseon. That was a real spectacle. It became the talk of the town, and it really marked this hopeful, exciting start to their shared mission together. But all that shared happiness, well, it was tragically short-lived. It was set against this backdrop of war that would completely and irrevocably change Rosetta's life forever. So in 1894, conflict just erupted. The First Sino-Japanese War was raging, and James Hall, he was right there on the front lines of care, dedicating himself completely to treating wounded soldiers. It was an absolutely heroic decision, but, one that came with immense risk. And this is where the tragedy strikes. While he was caring for the sick and the wounded, James contracted typhus, and on November 24th, 1894, he passed away. He was just 34 years old. He was laid to rest in Yanggwojin, leaving Rosetta a widow, all alone in a foreign land. But in the face of this absolutely devastating loss, Rosetta did something incredible. She transformed her grief into this powerful, unstoppable resolve. Instead of retreating, she pushed forward. She founded a hospital in Pyongyang in his memory. She dedicated herself to advancing medical care. And, so crucially, she began to build a legacy by empowering the Korean people around her. Rosetta's work created these ripples of change that extended so far beyond her own lifetime, touching countless lives, generation after generation. So, how exactly did one woman's resolve create a legacy that we can still feel today? Let's take a look. And here's what made her work so revolutionary. Her vision. It went way beyond just providing immediate care. No, she was focused on building a sustainable future for Korean medicine, and a huge part of that meant empowering Korean women to take the lead. She saw this immense potential in her assistant, a woman named Kim Jeom-dang. Rosetta mentored her personally, and then she sponsored her education all the way over at a medical school in Baltimore. She helped her shatter barriers and become the nation's very first female physician. Just amazing. And her impact just kept expanding. It didn't stop there. She developed the institution that would later become the prestigious Ewha Women's University Hospital. She founded that hospital in Pyongyang to honor her husband. And, remarkably, she even pioneered education for the visually impaired, establishing a school for the blind and introducing Braille to Korea for the very first time. And this part just brilliantly illustrates how that legacy continued right on through her son. So Sherwood Hall was very close to Kim Jeom-dang. He actually called her aunt. When she tragically died of tuberculosis, Sherwood, so inspired by his mother's example, dedicated his own life to fighting that very same disease. He became a medical missionary himself and even created Korea's first Christmas seals back in 1932 to raise money for tuberculosis treatment. After an entire lifetime of service, after laying the very foundation for modern medicine in Korea, Rosetta passed away in the United States in 1951. But even then, her final wish was to return to the land and to the people that she loved so, so deeply. And so her story came full circle. Her ashes were brought back to Korea, reuniting her in death with the family she had lost so many years before. It was a final testament to her lifelong dedication. What began with one person's tragedy had truly, truly become a nation's hope. Pastor James Hong, who served as a missionary in China, now ministers in Maryland, USA. He is a researcher of Korean mission history and shares his weekly meditations from his book, Remember and Repay, 52 weeks of mission meditation.